Hi, I'm Amy with Eastside Wellness Chiropractic. The next exercise in our active care series is a half kneel press. We have Kara on a nice spongy mat. We do this because what we want to do is take away some of the stability so that she has to recruit more stability from her hip and core. So instead of being on a nice, firm, even surface that would be nice and simple, we take that away and make her work for the stability by being on a foamy, spongy mat so she doesn't have that nice, even surface. So now she has to work a little bit harder to maintain that core and hip stability. Now we have a couple options of weights when choosing what to use for your half kneel press. Again, similar to our arm bar, we want a weight that's difficult, but we don't want a weight that's impossible. You can use a kettlebell. What's nice about a kettlebell is that the weight is unevenly distributed. So rather than having a nice, even distributed weight, we have a bell that wants to pull us back because most of the weight, if not all of the weight, is on the back side of your wrist. So that's another factor that you actually have to fight that works against you and actually requires you to recruit more stability. Our other option is to use a dumbbell. A dumbbell has the nice, even distributed weight on either side. So you may find that you can actually use a little bit heavier of a weight when using a dumbbell rather than using a kettlebell. What we're gonna do is have Kara come up into a bent elbow position. She's gonna tuck that nice into her ribs, and we are gonna have her hold the weight and the hand opposite of the knee that's up. By doing this, we get a nice effect across the abdomen called the serape effect, where we have to contract and use stabilizers across the body. So what Kara's going to do is she's going to press the weight up into the air while staying heavy on the knee and light on the front feet. Notice how Kara did a great job keeping the shoulder drawn down away from her ear, making sure to contract in that lat. One thing we want to make sure that we're not doing is as we press up, really pulling that shoulder up into the air. We want to keep that locked down. As Kara pulls the weight down, she wants to pull as though she's pulling against resistance all the way back down into her rib cage. She's going to repeat this for the number that we assigned to her after she came in. We're going to go ahead and do that nice and fluid again. Good, and then down. Now notice how Kara's stopping a little bit out in front of her. Go ahead. You can see how the weight is in front of her head. Where we want to be is back so that your elbow is in close proximity to your ear. Go ahead and pull that back down and do that one more time. This helps to keep us in a nice postured position rather than leaning forward as the weight comes forward. You can see how this sets Kara back a little bit. Go ahead and pull that down. Now, what happens from this exercise is we like to take the half kneel press into what's called a halo. Kara's gonna hold the weight in front of her. If it's a dumbbell, she's gonna hold what I like to call the ears of the dumbbell on either side. If it's a kettlebell, she's gonna hold the bell as if she's looking at the bottom of it so that it wraps around her head. In this case, we're gonna have Kara use the dumbbell. You're gonna hold the weight, eye level, and as she wraps the weight around her head, she wants to maintain the eye level. So you're gonna come around in a circular motion, all the way around, avoiding your hair, turning the weight as you go, and back. What we wanna make sure she doesn't do is as she circles around her head, brings the weight above her head rather than around her head. As she goes through this, she wants to make sure she stays completely still through the core, allowing the motion to only come from the shoulders as she wraps that dumbbell around her head. One more time. Perfect. And that's our half kneel press into our halo.